Okay, so it is Tuesday, April 26th. It is 6:30 p.m. And I want to go over something really quick. Well, not really quick, but I want to go over this. Is the expansion. Let's see if there's anything new. Something for something new. It's pretty much all old. NASA discovered a parallel universe. Okay, that's too stupid. So I don't see anything right here on YouTube about the expanding universe that's new. Okay, so you know what? Let's go over all this. Ex- expand expand definition. Become or make larger or extensive. Inflate, balloon. Literally, the word balloon is a word for expansion. So when they're like, yeah, the expansion, that's why I've used it as an analogy towards debunking it, because it literally the word expand means balloon. It's the there's this the balloon is a swell out in spherical shape to billow, and in physics undergo a continuous change whereby, according to theory based on observed redshifts, all galaxies recede from one another. Okay, let's go over that real quick. So this part right here, redshifts. You guys see that, right? Okay. Now, according to them, the color red, the red shifting means when you look at a galaxy and it's red shifting, that means it's moving away from you. This is what they say. And if it's blue shifting, it's moving towards you. Now, believe it or not, there's purple shifts. But they only ever talk about the red shifting because the red shifting is what pushes that whole expanding universe thing. Now, I could easily contradict this by simply stating that the Andromeda universe is moving towards us, and supposedly the Andromeda galaxy. So if you look at the Andromeda Milky Way collision. So the Andromeda Milky Way collision is a galactic collision predicted to occur in about 4.5 billion years. So, yeah, that pretty much, just puts a nail on their little argument, that everything is redshifting, because obviously it's not. The Andromeda galaxy is moving towards us. Now if it, according to their own hypothetical fairy tale, non apocalyptic crap that they make up, for this to be happening, either one, the universe is not expanding in anywhere form, because it's moving, it's crunching. B, it's fluctuating or oscillating. Or D. Well, let's leave it at that. So, and if or wait, or if it is expanding, there's like a traffic jam of sorts. So it's expanding, but we're crunching up against another galaxy, or the galaxy's crunching up against us as it's supposedly expanding. Now, if you go back to the word balloon and expand, so the expansion is ballooning. That's what they're saying, right? So I can grab a balloon, okay? I could grab a balloon. You can even under geometry. See, expansion includes an edge on all shapes. Any expansion, like I said, like the balloon expanding, would have an edge. This is basic geometry, guys. All right. So this can only imply one thing: that they must They must hypothesize an edge along with their imaginary expansion crap. Even does time expand? If you look at this image, you would see that what the hell? On all these images, all of these shapes have an edge. They all have an edge, and you see the different potential potential shapes of cosmology that they show us. There's a spherical, there's a partially spherical, and then there's a flat. And you, as you look at all of these, have edges. All of them. The spherical shape has an edge. The horse seat looks like a horse seat or some sorts. You know, the flat. All of those have edges. You can see the edges right there. I've explained this over and over. Like, when you start talking about a shape of this and shape of that, and then you think about existence, I understand, yeah, you know, all of existence is within something, you know. So there cannot possibly be an edge to anything. As we look at the screen in this image, we look at it, and the image on the screen has an edge. The device you're holding has an edge, right? Your physical body, your carnal body has an edge. Okay, and we all know that our physical, even though we say that our physical selves does not end on our bodies. Like, we have senses that literally expand beyond our physical bodies, or beyond our. You could feel when someone's coming up behind you, and certain, you know, you could sense time, sense direction. That is all beyond your carnal body, your carnal self. Okay? So if I was to grab a balloon and I start expanding it in this room right here, then I can say it's expanding because I can actually measure the expansion of the balloon. Right? I can measure the expansion of the balloon. As we could see right here. There's, you know, you measure the periodic acceleration of size. You measure every so often. You look at it and it looks bigger. You're able to determine it is in fact bigger and stretching. And so come on, dude, get off my screen. And that's what this whole shape thing, when they said that the universe is expanding, like, they need to come up with an edge. They need to show us an edge to that expansion. You just cannot be like, the universe. And if we look at it, universe expand. I've made fun of these cartoons all the time, over and over. This is one of my favorite ones. Dude. Okay, so as we see it, this image has an edge. Now, of course, that purple part and the flat space part and the flat purple part all have edges. The funnel of the supposed expansion, that has an edge. It edges in between time and space as it's showing. And then there's the rim at the edge, to the right. So that's the edge of that. There's an edge right there. And then all the way to the left, you have that creation event, which and I've said it before, how this is a biblical image, because it totally implies that there's darkness, and within this darkness, a light is created, and then throughout that light, everything of existence, starts to form from that light. But the light itself could only have been created by the darkness, because the darkness is what occupies this void of space, which is not even space. The edge to this image, the edge to this image, and we're not even talking about the flat part where it says space, or the other flat parts. Is just the edge of the funnel. Beyond that, beyond the edge of that is pure nothingness. There is no space there. It's not space. Space is what's inside of the funnel. Do you guys comprehend this? As we look at this image, obviously we see an edge to the image, an edge to the screen, and then the edge of the device. And again, you feel the edge of your carnal self. You look up at your room. You look to the edge of the walls, the edge of the roof. Okay, that room is inside of a house or an apartment building or a school classroom or whatever it is. Then that building is within, and then it goes on and on. Then you have, the all the way up to, then there's the ozone layer, according to their own theory. The ozone layer, then the Kármán edge, and then, then the Van Allen belts, and then the heliosphere, then the heliopause, and it's all, and it's all like, there's edges to all of that. All of that is the Kármán edge is they're like, no, yeah, but it's not a physical hard edge. It's more like, it slowly, turns into space. And at first, space was supposedly a vacuum. Now it's not really a vacuum. You got cosmic winds, electrons per cubic meter, and just a total nonsense. But here in this image, we see there's nothing but darkness around what would be existence. So by looking at this, and most people would look at this, right? And so you want to visualize this, you want to imagine this. So you use your imagination, your creative force inside you. It's supposed to be like a gift that other animals do not have. Like our imaginations are totally different from all other species on this plane of existence. So, under the theory that you're on a globe and you're on a planet and you're like supposedly just a mathematical anomaly, a mathematical oddity, which is not miraculous in any way or form. And you look at this and you try to visualize yourself within this small little image, and that's your mind. You put yourself there. You're putting yourself, by looking at this image and imagining it, and you imagining yourself inside of it, you just done fucked up. You just put yourself in the middle of a void. Your entire mentality is right there. Your entire mind. We're talking about everything is in there now. From that mentality inside your head, everything else spurs. Everything else evolves from this now. Your whole family, everything. Your family, your career, your colleagues, everything. Okay? Everything is affected by your mentality. And if your mentality is where that, like, you think you're inside that cartoon image and you're surrounded by nothingness and darkness and all kinds of other stuff, like, wow. Like, that affects everything that you do in life. So now you're walking around in the plane of, the plane of existence, the material plane of existence, and inside of you, you're blocked off from all natural, waves. The natural waves that are actually, like, you turned your antenna off. You put a void of nothing, a bubble of nothingness around yourself. No. Any radio waves, anything like that coming in that should be natural, or any waves, that frequencies that we need to, believe me, everything's about frequency. Okay? Photosynthesis is based on frequency. The temperature is based on frequency. Vision based on frequency. Nervous system based on okay, see what I'm saying? It's all supposed to be interconnected. When you put a bubble of black nothingness void around you, like, you are blocking yourself out. You're turning yourself, you are encapsulating yourself. All right? And by doing so, what you start doing is you start attracting darkness. More, Like under your own ideology. Mass attracts mass. So there you are with this dark mass and dark matter around your human essence, around your spirit, around, call it what you will. Your will, call it will. Call it your free will. All right? And now there's this darkness around it. And according to your own ideology, mask, and when things attract to each other. So now you're a big dark bubble, and you're just attracting nothing but darkness and bubble. And that affects everything. It affects you, some people you stand next to, and they it seems like they're shining. It seems like they're full of sunshine or something. Like they glow, you know what I mean? Like you stand by certain people, and some people are like, yeah, it's the aura, some people got a strong aura, you know what I mean? And believe it or not, all of that is totally possible. Okay, it's possible. But if you got your mind stuck in this crap, it's affecting you. It's bound to affect you. And because it's affecting you, it's going to affect everyone around you. This is insidious. This right here is like an insidious way of attacking the human spirit, the human will, the free will, the will of mankind, the imagination, the creativeness. I mean, what's the point of anything? I mean, and so if you look and if you ask them what is the result of dark energy? Okay, dark energy apocalypse. There's no reason to believe in this crap.
Understanding what it is that's making the universe expand faster is an incredibly important thing for understanding the future of the universe. Right now, the evolution of the cosmos is dominated by this mysterious dark energy that we can't see, we don't understand. If we figure out what it's doing, if we figure out what it's made of, how it's going to change in the future, then we will have a much better idea for how the universe will end.
Did you guys hear that? So there's this dark energy they're imposing on people to believe in is an apocalyptic force. It's not something that we should be. First of all, we shouldn't even be happy about something like this. And some people are like, wow, dark energy and science. Look at the news today. And believe me, I could easily, I'll start looking around for more articles about dark energy and how they keep proving it's real. But none of it, it's when you go to listen to it and watch it, it's not real. It's still more hypothetical shit. But here's what they're trying to do. This is an attack on humanity. Okay? This is a doom and gloom prophetic crap. That's what this is. I mean, it sells a lot. Okay, they're making tons of money off this crap. Look, pay me $1 million every year to chase around darkness. I will keep proving that there's more darkness that we need to keep trying to discover. That is a total scam.
Dark matter is very different from dark energy. People often get these two ideas confused because they're both called dark, and also because there are connections between matter and energy. People might have heard of, E = mc squared, this idea that there's a way to relate the mass of something to its energy. That's from Einstein. In this case, dark matter and dark energy don't seem to be related to each other in any way that we know. They're both called dark because we cannot see them, and they're mysterious. That's where the similarity ends. Neither one is dark in the sense of being like black.
So the similarity is that they're both imaginary.
They're dark in the sense of being invisible.
You know what's similar to that? Unicorns. Smurfs. Gremlins.
So they don't emit light, they don't absorb light, they don't reflect light, they don't seem to interact with light at all. as far as we can tell. Dark matter seems to be something that interacts via gravity, so it has mass, it's matter, but it doesn't seem to interact via the other forces of nature in any way that we've been able to tell. Dark energy only does this thing where it makes space expand, it interacts only with space, and there's a possibility that dark energy is just a property of space, that every little bit of space has a little bit of expansion built in, and as the universe gets bigger and bigger, there's more and more space, and so that expansion starts to win out over the gravity that's trying to slow it down. And so the universe starts expanding faster and faster. That's one possibility for dark energy, that it's just a cosmological constant. It's just part of how the universe works, that it has this expansiveness built into it. But it's possible it's something else. It's possible that whatever's making the universe expand faster and faster is something weird and different, something that acts in a totally different way, that also accelerates the expansion of the universe, but maybe it changes over time in some way that we don't understand. One of the possibilities for that is something called phantom dark energy. Phantom dark energy would be something where dark energy is getting more powerful over the time.
Wow. Look at the words they use, phantom. That's a ghost.
That means that in a particular volume of space, the amount of dark energy in that volume starts growing. And that would actually lead to a total apocalypse in a relatively short time. What it would do is it would start tearing apart things in the universe. If dark energy is not a cosmological constant, if it's this phantom dark energy, then the amount of dark energy is going to get higher over time. And so the stars that have been orbiting very stably in the past will start to feel pushed out by more and more of this expansion happening inside.
Pushed out where? Look at that image. It's being pushed out onto a black screen. Technically, that's an existing space. They're talking about it's gonna be pushed out into a nothingness like this. Like what they're saying is insane. It's insanity. Pushed out to where? Like, where is this edge at? Show us the edge. If you want anyone to believe this expansion shit, you have to show us the edge. And if there's an edge, please tell us what's beyond this supposedly edge.
The galaxy. So in the scenario that dark energy is this weird stuff, this phantom dark energy, then it does start to actually pull matter apart. So it would first start to pull galaxies away from other galaxies in these giant galaxy clusters. Then it would start to pull stars away from galaxies. So we'd see, the stars of the Milky Way would...
Again, why is the Andromeda galaxy supposedly gonna crash with the Milky Way? This is stupid.
Start to drift away, and then it would start to pull planets away from their suns, and then it would start to actually pull apart planets and stars.
See how she's laughing? I know you guys heard her laughing right there. She gets paid to say this crap, guys. She's a doom and gloom expert, is what she's there. She gets paid to crap on people. She literally laughs about this shit.
And even eventually atoms, and particles, it would start to just rip everything apart. And at some point in the future, it would kind of tear apart the whole universe in a process we know as the Big Rip. So based on our current data, there's some uncertainty in our current measurements of the expansion of the universe. And that uncertainty leaves some space for the possibility that our universe is headed toward a Big Rip. And based on the uncertainties in the measurements, what we can say is that we're almost certain not to have a Big Rip in the next 200 billion years or so.
They're almost certain about not being certain, but they could certainly be wrong about being certainly right and wrong at the same time. Now, someone give her another $1 million.
But we can't say for sure that it will never happen. And even as we get more and more precise measurements, all that's really going to do is push this.
Keep paying her so she could keep getting these measurements, and she'll just keep laughing and shitting on you.
Scenario farther into the future and say, well, maybe we'll get much better measurements in a few years, and then that'll tell us we definitely won't have a Big Rip for the next 100,000 billion years. You might at some point get to that. But you'll never be able to say that it'll never happen because no measurement is ever 100% complete. So unless we really understand what dark energy is, which at the moment we don't, we can't say for certain that it won't at some point rip the universe apart. We can just say that if it's going to do that, it'll be a really long time from now. Alternatively, dark energy could be something that changes fundamentally over time, that doesn't get more powerful, but gets less powerful and actually changes direction.
Here comes the big crunch.
So dark energy could be something that's currently making the universe expand faster, but it could be something that changes and at some point starts to pull the universe back together again. Right now we know that the universe is expanding.
Wait, isn't that just gravity? Oh my goodness.
Galaxies are getting farther apart from each other. And for a long time, we were trying to measure how quickly that expansion was slowing down. And we figured it should be slowing down because the Big Bang happened in the beginning, that kicked off the expansion. And since then, all the gravity of all the stuff in the universe.
Okay, the Big Bang kicked off where? Because time and space did not exist yet. There's no time, there's no space. Time and space, and or space-time, throw mine in there, and or timed space. Did not exist yet. No time is relevant, and no space is relevant. Do you guys comprehend that? There's no space, no time, there's a nothingness.
Should be kind of putting on the brakes, kind of pulling things back. For a long time, we didn't know if the gravity would eventually win, or if the expansion was so powerful that everything will be moving away from everything else forever. And if the gravity were to win, then what would happen is the expansion at some point would stop, and distant galaxies, instead of moving away from us, would start barreling toward us in the future. And the way that it would look to us is that we would see distant galaxies kind of coming toward us.
This must be a joke because she's like laughing her ass. She's got this sarcastic smirk on her face and she's literally laughing. This is a joke.
We would see collisions of galaxies much more often. Other galaxies would collide with our galaxy. There'd be a lot more stuff in the smaller region.
She must have missed the memo that Andromeda is supposedly barreling towards the Milky Way. Wow, she's stupid.
Space, just everywhere in the universe. The universe would get much more dense. And the thing that would actually get dangerous...
Your head is dense, bitch.
...about that, the first thing that would get dangerous about that is that as the universe is compressing, it's not just compressing like the galaxies, the stars and stuff like that. It's compressing all of the radiation in the universe as well. And we know that there's background radiation in our universe today that's left over from
the CMB is a great example of my whole, expansion ballooning problem. I mean, you could see there, it's a balloon. And there's an edge around that fucking balloon. A darkness around that balloon. It's just dumb. This is total stupidity. Reality and existence cannot be expanding. Nor can it have an edge.
Time when the early universe was very hot and dense. It dissipated, it sort of spread out. But that radiation is still out there. And so if you're compressing the universe, you're bringing all that radiation back into a smaller space. And so you're moving toward being back in that plasma state. You're evolving toward being the whole universe being hot and dense and sort of this roiling plasma. As the universe is compressing, not only is it bringing back all that radiation from the primordial fire, it's also compressing all the radiation from all of the stars that ever burned in the universe.
Primordial fire? Jeez. Wow. That sounds like the lake of fire that God punishes his sinners, throws them in. That must be a primordial fire. Like, wow.
More and more, any random point in the universe would feel a lot more like being right next to a star. and all of these high energy processes in the universe that create gamma rays and X-rays, that radiation also would be compressed. And so at some point, as you're evolving toward a big crunch scenario, as the universe is compressing, you get to a point when there's so much radiation in the universe, just in empty space, just so much radiation that it's enough to ignite the surfaces of stars. And what I mean by that is that there's so much of this high energy radiation just flowing through the universe that the outsides of stars start carrying out thermonuclear explosions. so stars will start to like just burn from the outside in. And at that point, it's all over. Nothing can survive conditions like that, and you end up with just total destruction. That's the big crunch. The only way we can see that happening is if dark energy is so weird that it doesn't just cause expansion, it actually stops, turns around, and causes compression. And because we don't know what dark energy is, we don't know if it's something that can change over time. We don't know if it's on some trajectory.
Even the background music is really stupid. First, they went on with this really slow piano, which was kind of like a slow, doomsday type background music, and now you have this whining in the back, this high pitched noise. Even my dog came to me right now, like, what the fuck is she like? She literally like looking at my phone. Like, what the hell is that? I had to, pet her and tell her everything, let her know everything's cool. She feels upset with this fucking music.
We can't rule out the idea that it could, at some point, reverse directions. We think that's probably not going to happen.
Get smarter faster with new...
We think this, we think that, possibly. And meanwhile, just keep giving her money. Maybe next year, her measurements will be a little bit more precise. And maybe the year after that, even more precise. And even after that, more precise. So she could actually tell us what this imaginary phantom is. Because the phantom is running around. He's going to rip up reality and existence. And, Jesus. How is that not going to affect your morale, your energy, your energy? How does it not affect your behavior and how you respond and react to everything around you? You're gonna go to work or school, or you're trying to do homework, or you're trying to study for a big state examination. You're probably going for a state license or something. You can't listening to this crap. You honestly can't. It's fucking depressing crap. A big grip, a big crunch, based on some imaginary force. This is totally a bad religious. It's just religion. And I could go over and over how it's too stupid. Just the Andromeda Milky Way collision contradicted with that stupid, dumb, wannabe doom and gloom preacher said, because that's all she is. She gets paid to show some numbers, give an apocalyptic story as she laughs at everyone and collects money. She gets to have a great life, collect a lot of money, do whatever she wants as she gives doom and gloom stories. And come on, I know you guys could see this, right? Come on, please tell me you guys don't see this. Do you guys even science, bro?